Hey guys, it's Eddie the Magic Monk. Welcome to another Bootstrap lesson. Today we want to talk about how to insert an inline form. So an inline form is basically a form that only takes up one single line on your website. And it's a quick form for people to, for example, enter their email and click subscribe or something like that to your website. So to get that set up, let's go to where we want to insert our form, which is just under this picture. So let's go to where this picture is on our website, which is about here. And let's go just underneath that. Make sure you have a few line breaks. And in between the line breaks, let's put in a form. So there you go, we have inserted a form with nothing in it. So that's not very useful. So what are we going to put inside the form? Well, let's put in a label, and an input box. Okay, so if you just say that, you're not giving it enough information. But let's just see what it looks like with that in. Okay, it's got this box, and you're meant to have a label, but there is no label, but because you haven't said what you want in the label. But we can see a problem already. If you click this box and type some things in, nothing happens. But if you highlight it, there is some text. So what's happening? The color of the text is white or yellow, so you can't see it. So that's a bit of a problem. So in order to fix that, what we need to do is we need to say, okay, what are we going to collect the input for? Well, we're going to collect someone's email. So let's put type equals email. Okay, and then at the top where you've got the CSS styling, you can style the input tag, and you can style it color as black. Okay, and that should change the color of this input box to black. Okay, so that's great. So what else do we want to fix up? Well, we got the label and the input tag. So what are we going to say in the label? We're going to say email. Okay, email colon. So people know that we're going to put someone's email in this box, perhaps preferably their own email. Okay, and then usually you would put in ID in the name of an input box so that this data can be processed with PHP or JavaScript or something like that. You can refer to it using the ID or the name. I'll let you guys find other tutorials for that. And then you would also need a placeholder. Placeholder is basically a little reminder for what people should type in this address. So enter email, something like that, to remind people. Okay, so if you save that and just have a look at what the form looks like now, it looks a bit better. Email, enter email. Okay, so now we want to firstly let Bootstrap know that we want to change the styling of the text box to make it more Bootstrap stylish. So let's go class equals form control. Okay, so form control just means form element. So if I save it, refresh, you guys should be able to see a slight difference. So it is now below the email. So why does it do that? Because you haven't told Bootstrap you want this form to all be in one line. So let's put in here form class equals form inline. And then it knows that you want to put everything in one single line. Okay, and where are you going to send all this data? Well, we're going to send the data to action equals process.php. You're going to process the data inside this file. So when you click submit, the data will get sent to this file, PHP file. But where is the data? How's the data going to be sent? Well, you type in your email here. Where's the send button? So let's put that in. But before we put that in, I want to group these two things together inside one single tag. So let's put in div class equals form group. Okay, why do you need to put it in a group? Because later on you can do things to your group. Okay, so it's now in a form group. And if you do something to this group, it should affect everything in this group. So, and then for the label, you're also going to put it here, label for email. So it knows that this label is for this input. Why do we need to do that? Because if you click on this email right now, it doesn't recognize it as the label for this input box. But if I save this page and refresh it, you'll see now that if I click on this label, it recognizes that it's the label for this text box, and it goes into this text box straight away. So if I click the label, it goes to the text box and you can start typing. So that's sort of useful. Another thing you can do is you can add another tag, form group large, and it'll make this group appear a bit larger. Okay, another thing we want to do is we want to, well, probably don't want it to be large anymore. Let's put in a button to submit the data. So here we can, after the form group, let's put in here button type equals submit. And then you can put in the name of the button. We can just say subscribe to newsletter. Button type is submit. And then we also want class equals button. So it's the Bootstrap button default. Okay, so you can refresh the page. It's got the subscribe to newsletter button. And if you click that, it should go to process.php. So let's try that. Process.php not found. All right, which is correct because I haven't made a process.php. Okay, so that's the basic gist of how you would create an inline form. You can also have multiple elements. So for example, let's just say, other than collecting just the data for the email, you could collect the data for name. So just put first name or something like that. First name, and type is just text, and just change all of these email entries to first name, enter first name. Okay, so you can get the data for their names, save it, and you should be able to see that you got first name, enter first name, email, enter email. Now the cool thing about this is that if you make this narrow, look what happens. If you make it narrow, it becomes a vertical form. So even though it is an inline form, it's only inline when your screen is wider enough. If your screen's not wide enough, it goes to a vertical form. Okay, so that's how you create an inline form in Bootstrap. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.